Have you ever found yourself stuck, overwhelmed by your lack of progress, no matter how hard you try? What if the key to unlocking your potential isn't motivation but consistency? Today, we're diving into a powerful Stoic concept that teaches you how to overcome your inner obstacles and stay consistent, no matter the circumstances. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're exploring a life-changing idea from Stoic philosophy that might just transform the way you approach your goals: consistency. In a world full of distractions and fleeting motivation, staying consistent seems like an impossible task. But the Stoics believed that through disciplined habits and mental toughness, we can achieve great things regardless of external challenges. I know many of us, myself included, have struggled with inconsistency in the past. We start a new habit, get excited, but then life gets in the way. The Stoics understood this human struggle and offered timeless wisdom to help us break the cycle. Today, we'll unpack how forcing yourself to be consistent with the right mindset can lead to a life of fulfillment and achievement. Section 1. The Stoic concept of amor fati, love of fate, and consistency. Let's kick things off with the Stoic concept of amor fati, which means love of fate. In simple terms, this is the idea that you should embrace every part of your life, even the struggles and setbacks, as necessary elements of your journey. Instead of resisting life's obstacles, you accept them and use them as opportunities for growth. Imagine you set a goal to work out every day. After a week, you hit a tough patch. You get sick, you're tired, life happens. Most people would see this as an excuse to quit, but according to the Stoics, this is where consistency matters most. Instead of complaining or giving up, you must embrace this setback as part of the process. These obstacles aren't there to stop you, they're part of your path. Think about a professional athlete. They don't get discouraged by setbacks like injuries. They see it as part of their journey and continue to push forward with consistency, even when it's tough. The key takeaway here: you don't control what happens, but you control how you respond to it. Embrace each step of the journey, no matter how difficult, and continue your pursuit of consistency. Section 2. The importance of discipline over motivation. Of the most common myths in self-improvement is that we need to feel motivated to be consistent. We wait for that burst of inspiration to get started, but the reality is motivation is fleeting, it comes and goes. The Stoics understood this, which is why they placed a higher value on discipline over motivation. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." What he meant was that true power comes not from chasing fleeting desires, but from the strength to choose discipline over temporary pleasures. Think about it. You could wait for motivation to come every day, but what happens when it doesn't? You fall off track. But if you cultivate discipline, the consistency becomes automatic. Think of a craftsman working on their art. Each day, they show up, even when the inspiration doesn't strike. Their success isn't in waiting for motivation, but in the steady, disciplined process of creating day in and day out. So, how can you build this discipline in your life? Start small. Establish non-negotiable habits and focus on the process instead of the end result. Gradually, your ability to be consistent will strengthen. Section 3. The power of small, consistent actions. The Stoics often emphasize that greatness isn't achieved in a single moment. It's the result of small, consistent actions taken over time. This is where the idea of progress through persistence comes into play. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us that the art of living is more like wrestling than dancing. Life isn't about perfection or dramatic breakthroughs. It's about continuously showing up, no matter how small the steps seem. Think of someone who wants to read more. Rather than setting a goal to read 20 books in a month, they could aim to read just 10 pages a day. Over time, this small, consistent action adds up eventually. It results in a completed book every couple of weeks. It's less about big leaps and more about showing up consistently, even when it feels insignificant. The idea here is that the consistent effort you put in, no matter how small, compounds over time and leads to massive results. Section 4. Contrasting views. Is consistency always the answer? Not all philosophies have the same approach. Some modern thinkers argue that consistency without flexibility. But Stoic philosophy offers a nuanced take. While consistency is key, it doesn't mean being rigid. The Stoics were experts at balancing perseverance with adaptability. We often hear about the importance of mindful flexibility. Sometimes we need to pause, reflect, and pivot if things aren't working. Stoic philosopher Seneca noted that sometimes even to live is an act of courage. So, if your current path isn't serving you, the Stoics would encourage a careful, conscious shift, but it still requires consistency in your adaptability. Here's where I'd love to hear from you. Do you think consistency can lead to success, or do you think it's about flexibility and knowing when to change course? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. Section 5. The role of self-awareness in consistency. Of the most important Stoic principles is self-awareness. To be consistent, you need to first understand why you're doing something and what drives you. Without this, you're more likely to lose motivation or stray off track. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This emphasizes that true consistency stems from knowing yourself, your strengths, weaknesses, and triggers. When you have this clarity, you can design habits that align with your true values. For example, someone may try to be consistent with exercising, but if they haven't considered their deeper motivations, like wanting to be healthy for their family or live a long life, they might lose steam when the going gets tough. Stoic philosophy encourages regular reflection and questioning of your actions and choices. This will keep you aligned with your purpose. Take a moment today and ask yourself, why do I want to be consistent with this goal? Knowing the answer to this will strengthen your resolve and help you stay the course even when challenges arise. Section 6. Overcoming resistance. The Stoic view on action, despite feeling some of the biggest roadblocks to consistency, is resistance. How often do you find yourself making excuses or putting off what you know you should do? The Stoics were masters of overcoming these feelings of resistance. They didn't wait for the perfect moment or for feelings of motivation to strike. They acted despite how they felt. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." The Stoics understood that life will always present resistance, whether it's inner doubts, external obstacles, or fatigue. But how you choose to respond to that resistance is what makes the difference between those who succeed and those who falter. You can apply this by realizing that your feelings of resistance aren't signs to stop, but signals to keep going. Whether it's a hard workout, a difficult conversation, or tackling an overwhelming task. The Stoic approach is simple. Keep moving forward, no matter how you feel. The more you act despite resistance, the easier it becomes to stay consistent. Consider a writer who sits down every day to write even when the words don't come easily. By simply committing to the process, even on tough days, they overcome resistance and make consistent progress. Section 7. The Power of Habit. Stoic Philosophy and the creation of daily routine. Stoic philosophy teaches us that consistency isn't just about brute force, it's about developing habits that serve us over the long term. Habits are the foundation of consistent actions, and through intentional daily routines, we can build momentum toward our goals. The Stoics practiced daily reflection, journaling, and other routines to strengthen their discipline. Marcus Aurelius, for instance, would begin each day with a meditation on how to approach challenges. This routine grounded him and allowed him to meet each day with purpose and clarity. By making consistency a part of your daily routine, you make it easier to show up. For example, if you commit to waking up early every morning to exercise, that commitment becomes part of your identity over time. Your habits shape who you are and, in turn, guide your consistent behavior. Think about building habits around your goal, no matter how small. Start with the basics, such as setting aside 10 minutes each morning to focus on one task, whether it's meditation, reading, or writing. Slowly, you can build upon these routines and watch how they lead to bigger, consistent actions over time. Section 8. The role of patience in consistency. Another crucial element in maintaining consistency is patience. The Stoics were not about immediate results. They were focused on long-term growth. Achieving consistency is often a gradual process, and the Stoics encourage us to embrace patience while pursuing our goals. Seneca said, "No man was ever wise by chance." This reminds us that wisdom, much like consistency, takes time. The Stoics believed in the importance of steady progress over time, instead of rushing toward instant success. Patience is a cornerstone of consistency because results don't always come quickly, but perseverance will eventually pay off. Think about a gardener planting seeds. Initially, there's no visible growth, but with consistent watering and care, over time, those seeds will sprout. The same applies to your goals. While you may not see immediate results, consistent effort combined with patience will yield rewards over time. If you're learning a new skill, like playing an instrument or learning a language, at first, progress might feel slow. But remember, patience is essential in building consistency. The more patient you are, the more your consistent efforts will compound. Section 9. Reflection and course correction. The Stoic practice of self-examination. The Stoics were masters of self-examination. In fact, they believed that constant reflection is vital to maintaining consistency. If you're not regularly checking in with yourself, you may find that you've veered off course without realizing it. Seneca emphasized the importance of self-reflection when he said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Through regular reflection, the Stoics believed we could avoid unnecessary suffering by confronting our weaknesses and adjusting our course. This concept teaches us that consistency doesn't mean mindlessly following the same path without question. The Stoics practiced periodic self-assessment, ensuring they were still aligned with their values and adjusting when necessary. By reflecting on your actions and progress, you can identify areas where you're not staying consistent and make the necessary adjustments. If you're working toward a fitness goal and realize that the current approach isn't yielding the results you want, reflection gives you the chance to reassess and refine your plan. The Stoics believed this was the key to staying on track, constant evaluation of your progress. Let's quickly recap what we've learned today. First, the Stoic concept of amor fati teaches us to embrace life's challenges, using them as fuel for our consistency. Then, we explored how discipline, not motivation, is the real driver of progress. We also saw that small, consistent actions can lead to extraordinary results over time. And finally, we discussed how to balance consistency with adaptability, a perspective the Stoics would have valued. To wrap things up, I want you to remember, consistency isn't about perfection, it's about showing up day after day, no matter the circumstances. It's the path to mastery. And with a Stoic mindset, you can build a life of purpose and progress. If this video resonated with you, don't forget to hit that like button. Share this video with someone who might need to hear this message, and subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. Leave a comment below. How are you going to apply Stoic consistency in your own life? Before I go, I'll leave you with a final thought. The Stoics believed that life is full of obstacles, but how we respond to them determines our success. So, the next time you face a challenge, remember, consistency is your greatest ally. Stay disciplined, keep showing up, and trust the process.